afternoon, good evening, wherever it is you may be as you are watching today's video. My name is Krysten Jansen, online fitness coach, content creator, and competitive powerlifter and bodybuilder. Thank you guys so much for tuning back into my channel. Today is another episode of Tutorial Tuesday. The biggest question that I've been getting lately is how do I make my thumbnails? So I'm going to discuss and go through the process of what I do to make my thumbnail. Obviously this is subject to change depending on what your channel is, what your video is about. Every thumbnail is going to be different. The first thing that you want to do before we go through actually creating it is ask yourself, what is this video about? So you want to make sure that you apply a thumbnail that's relevant to your video. If it's a full day of eating video, is it really relevant to post you working out in the gym? Probably not. You want to post something that's more relatable to food, whereas in reverse, if you are going to the gym, maybe you walking on the treadmill, doing some squats, something that's relevant to doing exercises for that particular video is more relevant for that thumbnail. So you kind of got to use some common sense when you are deciding on what picture it is that you are wanting to use. Having said that, I haven't edited last week's episode's thumbnail, so it's like 2 weeks until this video is posted. I'm gonna actually show you guys what I do for that one. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so we're gonna go into Lightroom. So I've already actually edited this. If you hit the backslash, I'll show you what it looked like before. That was before, and that's after. So pretty subtle changes, just makes it a lot more, brings out the shadows, looks just much more vibrant than out of camera. Brought up the saturation. So if you want a full detailed tutorial on that, make sure you check out the videos somewhere around here. You could go check out my Lightroom tutorial, but I always edit my thumbnails first. So we edited that, and then we are going to export this. I'm just going to put it on my desktop, and then if you scroll down, make sure the quality is always at 100. We're going to export that. Yes. Okay, so that is now on my desktop. So we are just going to go to a website called PicMonkey. A lot of people use this when they're editing their thumbnails. I use this, and sometimes I will use Photoshop as well. I think for today's video we might just stick to PicMonkey. I haven't decided yet. I kind of have an idea in my head, but if I need to use Photoshop, then I will. So let's find the edited photo. There it is there. So we're gonna open it up in PicMonkey. So PicMonkey is a free program if you want to have a bunch of additional options like fonts and different types of options within the program. You do have to pay a subscription for it. I've paid a subscription for it. I think it's like 70 bucks a year. So we are gonna go crop this photo because it's not cropped properly to fit into YouTube. So if we go to crop, the dimensions are 1280 by 720. It's already at 720, so it's gonna probably cut out my body just a little bit, which is totally fine. I'm not too worried about that. As long as my head is in it, my hands are in it, I'm happy. Before we get into the editing process of it, I just want to note the composition of this photo. I had an idea in my head already how I actually wanted to edit this photo. I knew I wanted to hold the lens in one hand and have one hand open, where I'm actually just going to overlay text there. So that's why that space right there is totally blank, because eventually I'm going to add text there. So I'm looking at this right now. I'm actually not too sure if I want to do anything in PicMonkey as of right now. So I'm going to export this photo out, and then we're going to import it into Photoshop. I know it seems a little complicated, and maybe it is, maybe there's a different option out there, but this is just what works best for me. Alright, so we're just going to drag that photo into Photoshop. And what I want to do, the reason I am using Photoshop is because I find the objects in the back of this photo to just be very distracting. It's not going to make the font pop. So I kind of want to black out the background. So we go over here to background, hit Command J. This creates a layer. So what we're going to do now with that layer is we're going to make sure you're clicked on it, and we're going to outline my body. So this is just the quick selection tool, and we're going to basically, if you want to make it bigger, you just go up to the top corner, resize it, and we're going to outline my body. Literally just dragging all the way down. I get outside my body, outside of the lens. There we go. And just keep kind of clicking. See how it went too far? So right there, as you can see, this would cut out. So if we go up here and hit the minus tool, then we can minus that selection and it'll go back in. So we just want that closer to my body. And then we just have to bring the size down a little bit so it's closer to my hand. Oh, and look at that. I didn't even notice that it went around the lamp. We don't want that. We just want my hair. Same up top here. There we go. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, with what we're doing, if I were to cut this out completely as a PNG, then you want to focus more on perfection when you're outlining this. But since we're going to put, I'm sure you've seen it on thumbnails before, it's very popular. We're going to put a white kind of watermark around my body, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, look at around my hair right there. It's not perfect, right? Like, I mean, I could try to push it out just a little bit more, but like I said, I am not too worried about it being perfect. So I'm gonna minus that out because I see it around the desk right there. Good, good, good. And just around my hair a little bit. Perfect. And then if we go up here, select, modify, and if you hit smooth, it's just gonna help, and you always do 5 pixels. This is just gonna help smooth out the lines a little bit. Okay, perfect. So we're gonna hit Control C, Control V, and that creates another layer. And if you wanted to create this as a PNG, you would hide the layer 1, layer 2, or the background, sorry, and see how the background's totally gone. But like I said, that is not what we're focusing on, so we can turn those layers back on. There's lots of different options that you can do with this, so I'm just going to bring this black down just a little bit, drop the opacity a bit. Let's hit OK. So that doesn't look too bad, actually. It takes away from the background, so it's not as distracting. You can make it totally black if you want to. I mean, it comes down to personal preference, right? So for me, I like how that looks. Now we're gonna go add our text. So I'm gonna save this, bring it back to my desktop, and open it back up in PicMonkey. So let's save it. JPEG, save. Okay. I know my way around PicMonkey a little bit better. I'm still actually learning how to use Photoshop. So we are going to add some fonts. So as you can see over here, there's a bunch of different options. If you hit the T's, TT, this is where all the fonts are. My camera gear. I'm gonna select all, we're gonna make that white. Good, go to effects, and I like to drop shadow it. If you go over to effects, there's a bunch of different options here just to add a little bit of a black hue to it. Bring that down, drag this out, let's make it a little bit bigger. And then you just kind of play with it. So obviously it can't be like that. And if you make it shorter, I just find like that there's just too much space in between. So I'm gonna right click, duplicate text, and have gear by itself. So that way I can space them together so it doesn't look like it's so far apart. And then maybe we can emphasize that word a little bit more. So my camera, try to make it, and try to put it in the middle. Let's make here a lot more bigger. My camera gear. I kind of want to make it look like I'm holding it, right? Kind of the idea. And that's basically it. So something else that I like to do, this is just my personal preference. I like to add like a black and white box behind my text. So if you go over here to the butterfly effect, at the very top, geometric, click on the rectangular, and if you right click, send to back, you can put that behind the text. So I like to do something a little bit funky. Well, you guys, that is about it for today's video. I hope you found that helpful. Hopefully that gives you some ideas of different tools and different options that you have when it comes to getting creative when you're making your thumbnails. So that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for tuning back into my channel. I will see you guys on Friday. Enjoy the rest of your week. See you guys in the next one. And also, sidebar, 20 seconds here is all I got, right? Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. It really helps with the channel. Maybe leave a comment down below. Let me know what you want to see going forward, and I would love to provide more value to you guys watching. So give me some feedback. It would really mean a lot. All right, that's it. Officially, see you on Friday.